If you're an occupational therapist and you're sitting in these Facebook groups and you're saying, oh my God, how much should I charge for my occupational therapy services? I work with X, Y, and Z, and I'm just not really sure what I should charge. Well, I'm here to answer that question because it's easier for me to create this video and hope that one day you're going to be looking for like how I should charge for my occupational therapy services, then go one by one in these Facebook groups and make comments because it takes a long time. But I want to share with you what I've done as an occupational therapist, no matter what your setting. So, my name is Huang. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist. And over 10 years ago, I started my therapy clinic. And over 5 years ago, I started Hand Therapy Secrets to help therapists develop their clinical skills. And now I make videos on business as well. Every Wednesday, I drop a new video. So, if you need my help or you want to get on my email list for that, the links are all below. But I think this is a very common question. I want to help you to kind of think about what you want to do. The thing is, when it comes to owning your own business, no one is going to tell you what to do. Only the market will tell you what to do, meaning what's possible for being charged. So one of the comments I recently saw was like, I'm seeing prices just range between the cheapest and the most expensive, right? So what should I charge? As a business person, I'm pointing my fingers at you, right? It's really directed at me because this happened to me when I started, because I was clueless. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I was like, oh my God, nobody's gonna pay for me. Pause, breathe. Someone is going to pay. Right? Someone's going to pay for your services. They're going to pay you a lot more than you think is possible. That depends on how you show up and what you tell them, right? When it comes to pricing, which I didn't really realize this until I was like way into my business, is that you want to price for profit. You want to price not for how much you want to make, right? So let's say you make $50 and you're like, oh my God, that's our baseline, right? That should be kind of like your profit, and everything else has got to compound on top of that, right? And so when it comes to what you should charge for your occupational therapy services, you have to be willing, please. You have to be willing to step out of the box that we were all placed in to say that we were the cheapest and we were, sufficiently low so everyone can pay for our services. You have to really decide who you want to work with. If you want to work with a person who's constantly canceling, giving you a hard freaking time, and you want a shit ton of them, then price your services so low that you're going to get all of those people, right? And getting all of those people, you are now going to have a lot of staff to pay for in order to have that kind of volume. I've made other videos just like this in terms of like what kind of patients, how you want to charge. I've made them before. But really, honestly, the fundamental part of your charges is what does it take? What does it take to run your business, right? Now, I see this and people are like, well, I'm only doing home health, or I'm going to people's homes and I'm doing X, Y, Z. They still have an overhead cost, marketing costs, right? There's a marketing cost. There is just you doing your own social media costs you time. So to a certain extent, you have to build that cost in there, because someday you're going to make enough money to hire someone else to do some of the editing for you, to do some of the organization for you, to run your marketing. You've got to make enough money to be able to afford a website. Hello. You've got to be able to afford a phone line for your business, right? So you have to start thinking beyond just this little box that we're put in of like, well, I want to make $50 and I only want to charge $150. What are people willing to pay for in your town that then will allow you to build a business where you could not be so worried about money all the time, right? You're going to make enough money to pay the bills. You can pay for an overhead, however much that overhead is. You can pay for people to help you. It could be staff on site, it could be staff virtual, but everything in a business costs money, and you have to generate a certain amount of revenue in order to have a certain amount of profit, because you want to make money so that you yourself can live, and you want to be able to make money in a way so that you can continue to enjoyably sustain your business, right? I once had an acquaintance of mine, she started her pediatric business, and she had this beautiful place, this beautiful space, and she had this beautiful concept, and it cost so much money, she took out loans, right? She took out loans to create this space and this business. But yeah, she was charging so freaking cheap that year on year, she was struggling to make ends meet. And the problem with not being able to make ends meet is that you feel really frustrated. You feel like a failure. You don't see that business is viable, right? So then your mind starts thinking, oh, maybe I should go work for someone else, when you really don't want to work for anyone else. So make sure you're charging appropriately. Make it more expensive than you think it is. Tack on a few dollars more than whatever you're comfortable saying. Whatever price, I'm not going to even tell you that price, right? Whatever you're comfortable saying, add money to that. You should feel uncomfortable saying what you're saying. That's how you're going to make money in your business to sustain it. For a long time, I was losing, there was up and down in my business. I started out, I was making all this money, and then I wanted to grow, and I lost all the money. And then I, made changes, because what I was doing was moving away from insurance and going into, premium cash. And so I took my eyes off the ball, and I lost a lot of money. And then I was like, okay, now that I'm kind of generating this momentum in what I was doing, I started making money again. Well, I started to lose money again because I started hands-on therapy secrets, creating programs and stuff like that. So it's not like you're always making money, but my prices were the things that were able to help me to be able to cover all my costs, right? It's able to help me cover all my costs. It allowed me to grow. I can tell you right now, I would have therapists come, on my program side, I would have therapists come and say, oh my God, you're so expensive. I can get this for cheaper. Okay, then go get something for cheaper. But I can promise you that nobody's working on behind the scenes how to make the program great, how to make sure that there's longevity and things that are created that last, right? And no one's put in for the amount of skills that I've had to work and develop in order to be able to teach in the way that I've taught, to be able to help then foster all the other therapists that are standing on my shoulders to be able to have those skills, right? You can't get better if you're not developing your skills. You can't teach better if you're not developing your own skills. So the price has an overhead to it that has to be covered. My clinic as well, right? I can't afford to constantly put my time in to train all my staff to make sure that they have fast and favorable outcomes for their patients if I'm not doing what I'm doing, right? In terms of constantly improving my skills on the business side and on the clinic side, so that my patients come out of here making better, faster results than if they went anywhere else. I hands down guarantee you that nobody is is working and paying attention to my patients the way we are here. Hands down, right? You have a problem, I'm dedicated to solving that problem. That costs money. So my prices, right, have to reflect the work that is required to get you that level of service and product, right? Services in terms of therapy service. So if you're a therapist and you're looking to, price your services, don't do yourself a disservice and make your shit cheap just because you see other occupational therapists making that shit cheap, or just because you see insurance companies don't want to fucking pay us. We have to develop our skills all the freaking time so that we can stand out as a business and we can deliver results. Honestly, you cannot deliver on results when you're not doing what you need to do to constantly develop yourself. So make sure that your prices reflect that. If you don't have the skills to market and sell your services and products, your prices should build in the cost of signing up for a program, taking a class, reading some books, going to workshops, going to, conventions where you can learn those skills. Just like I have to do that, plus I have to develop my clinical skills, because if I'm going to charge premium, you better believe that I can deliver on premium results better than anyone else can. And I think that when you have that mindset, you can put a premium price to your services. So moral of the story is, don't dumb down and don't cheapen your prices just because you're scared that someone will say no. Just because you're scared that other therapists are going to talk shit about you because you are charging the highest and they're unable to do the same. Right? Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox when it comes to premium pricing and how you should charge, or you can charge, for your occupational therapy services. Don't go in those stupid groups and start asking, because there's a lot of multitudes to your pricing that someone doesn't understand to give you the best advice. People give you advice based off of their fears, not based off of what is the best for you, right? Keep that in mind when you're asking these types of questions in groups where they don't know you and they don't know your plans. Just a little thought. Let me know what you think. Those are my thoughts. Like it or leave it, totally up to you. But I would love to hear your comments below, and maybe some of the questions that you have around pricing, because then I could make another video on it. Give me a little detail, because that always helps. Now, if you want my help or you want to get on my email list, the links are below. All right? In the meantime, leave a comment, and of course, subscribe. All right? Thanks. Until next time.